Hi everyone, this is Ashley Rodriguez for my final discussion board post, the visual representation of the overview of the program. I started this program with very clear intentions. I had left a career more than 8 years in the parole and probation system, helping mental health clients, and I was a psychologist. I had a master's degree in forensic psychology and felt that that was, while a very fulfilling path, it was no longer the direction I needed to be going. I was looking at the next steps. I knew that for my next step, I needed to have a license, and through my research, discovered that social work really was a better fit for me than pursuing, say, a doctorate in psychology. So, you know, to start my overview, I was overwhelmed at the beginning. I was trying something new. I was uncertain if it was the right next step, and I was very scared of uncertain steps because I do have a family that depends on me. And while I was okay taking a risk and starting over and making a big change, I didn't want my family, my children, my husband to have to sacrifice for that. So, my approach to this program has been determined and focused. I took more classes than was required each semester. I threw myself 100% into everything that we were doing. And I feel like I may have, in some ways, lessened the experience for myself by doing that because it led me to, I don't think I enjoyed as much of it as I could have. I spent more effort on getting through it quickly and, efficiently. Efficiency would be a good word to describe my path. Um, but nevertheless, I still managed to gain the knowledge I needed, and I can see now a clear path forward with that. I'm excited for the next phase. I feel like a big turning point for me was starting the internships because I started the program during a transitional phase anyway. I had left the career and also had my second child. Um, Starting the internship was the first time back to work after over a year gap since my last job. And that felt so rewarding to get back in the field, to get back out there doing things and helping people. I intentionally took a macro focused placement that would give me a different skill set than the one I'd been using for most of my career. And I would say that would be one of the tips I would want to give anyone else coming into this program would be don't take an internship you know you can handle. Take an internship that's going to provide you new experiences because even if you've been doing this for a while and your goal is the license, your goal is the piece of paper at the end, there's always more to learn from field experiences, and you shortchange yourself by picking one that is already covering material you know. If you've spent a lot of time in direct practice, try something different. Try a meso experience. Try a macro experience that's new for you, that challenges you and takes you in a new direction, even if it doesn't end up being where your career wants to go in the long run. My first internship placement was very rewarding, working with 211, a social service referral and connection agency that works here in Baltimore to make sure the citizens are getting what they need and getting resources that they need, which has proved even more rewarding now that I've come back to work for them part-time during the pandemic to make sure that people are able to get to food banks, that they're able to get to testing, that they're able to get the medical care that they need and just basic services. Um, my second placement was no less valuable to me. I took a placement in a therapy clinic, a mental health direct service clinic, and that placement was also challenging for me in a way because I'm not used to working in a therapy setting. I've worked many other areas of mental health services, but never as an individual therapist. And so that allowed me to use skill sets that I'd only ever had academic knowledge of before, that let me, flex some new muscles basically, and to see if therapy was really where I wanted to build a career. And I think that's also a valuable experience. The big one for me that was a challenge in this program was having to let go of some opportunities that weren't going to work out logistically simply because they were in conflict with my efficiency requirement. I had the opportunity to interview for several internships that would have been amazing. I have no doubt they would have been amazing. But unfortunately, because Arizona's issues with establishing new contracts, with the problem of forging new internship paths, was going to take too much time. I wouldn't have been able to finish the program when I wanted to and was scheduled to. So I had to pass on those experiences, which leads me to another tip I would give any student starting this program would be to really evaluate what internship options are available in your area long before the program requires you to start taking those steps. Because if you're interested in something new, if you're interested in something that isn't pre-established with Arizona State, especially online where there aren't a lot of agencies out here that are pre-established with Arizona State, those new connections take time. And unfortunately, there's not much we can do about that at the moment. So the best you could do would be to start that process early. If you know you want a hospital placement for your second internship, start that paperwork during your first internship. Because that way you won't be in the position I was in where I had to pass on experiences I wanted to have because it came down to choosing, time or experience. I was able to find, thankfully, wonderful other experiences that were established, but I will probably think back on the ones I missed out on with a little tiny bit of regret, because I really believe they would have been amazing. I'm hoping that I can still turn those connections into experiences down the line, that I can stay connected and forge new paths for others. But, there's some level of organization that's required when you're an online student to begin with, and I feel like the internship steps really do take just an additional level of organization and advanced planning. On the contrary, I didn't end up needing that same level of advanced planning as I thought I would for the portfolio. That seemed to just flow for me. It came together, I think, because I had such great supervisor and because the learning contract really did naturally feed into the portfolio projects for me. The supervisor I had at my second internship gave me a great tip, which was to when picking my portfolio items, to start with one that was the core of my experience, which for me was individual therapy, and to try and identify two others that were unlikely to be found in every other portfolio, that were not standard social work practice in the sense that they were unique to me. So one was a trauma training that was unusual in that no one else I knew has had that certification, and I had not heard of it before my internship. And the second for me was a proposal that was, thought up from my agency because of the specific criteria within my agency, and moved forward with the help of my supervisor. So I would say that would be my last tip for any student coming into this, would be to try and really make sure that you do at least one unique thing, one thing at your internship that's not being done by all the other interns, even if you have to dream it up yourself, even if it's something outside the box. Because if there's anything that social workers should be, it's critical thinkers and outside the box thinkers. We have to problem solve, we have to be creative. And I really think those are the lessons that I'm going to take moving forward. Be daring, be brave. Take the information that you learned in school, definitely, and apply it in your career. I'm going to use the skills that I, learned in each of these classes. I'm going to try my hand at group work. I'm going to try my hand at policy work. I'm going to do all of those things. But more than anything, this program has reaffirmed for me the importance of taking myself outside of my comfort zone and trying new things, even if they don't stick, just to do them. Because you never know what might stick. You never know what might end up being your dream job because you honed that extra skill set that you didn't think you might use, but that you decided later was valuable. So, in sum, I'd say that's really the overview of my program. I came from being, blinders on, singular focus at the beginning of the program to now thinking of daring experiences I might be able to try next. So, my overview, my program has really just been one of personal perspective growth. And I hope you guys have had a great experience as well. So, thank you.